Hey guys, today we're back on Tier Maker, and I'm going to be ranking every Minecraft weapon here. So let's start. An anvil. An anvil, honestly, I feel like it's only useful for traps. It's only useful for traps because if you try to place it in combat, it's really hard to land it if your opponent is all moving around. And even then, they're probably going to see it coming eventually. Alright, next up, an axe. This is a really good weapon. It does a lot of damage, but it has a slower hit speed, but it's a good trade-off. It is a little bit more expensive than a sword, but it's pretty good. A bed. The bed is only really useful if you're combating in the nether or the end, and plus it can definitely backfire if you're not careful, so I'm just gonna put it into the rarely useful tier. A bow. A bow is a good solid ranged weapon, mainly because it has a very good range, and it has the power enchantment, which can increase its damage by a good bit. Next is the cactus. The cactus can it's really only good for traps because if you place a cactus down in the PvP, it's easy to break a cactus, so they'll probably insta-mine it. A campfire, that's also just good for traps. It isn't really that good for dealing damage because it doesn't even set the opponent on fire. They'll probably just break it instantly with like an axe or something. Next is a cobweb. Oh, wrong thing. The cobweb, now it's pretty good if I'm going to be really honest, because it stops your opponents from advancing, which can be good for when you need to regen health by eating food. A crossbow, I'd say it's a bow, but it can be better in some situations, but it also can be worse because a crossbow can come pre-ready in your inventory. So, but it also can't be enchanted with power. I also think that the crossbow damage is slightly higher than the bow. I could be wrong though. Anyways, next one, the dispenser. Do I even really need to say anything? I mean, there's no way an opponent would let you place down if okay, so an opponent and you are a few blocks away from each other. There's no way that the opponent is going to let you place down a dispenser, fill it up with whatever it is, and then a button. There is no way your opponent would let you do that. Next is the egg. Eggs can be good for knocking your opponent back, but they aren't that useful in really combat. Same thing with the snowball, so I'll just put it there as well. Crystal. This is good if you know how to this is good only if you really know how to crystal PvP and can rapidly place obsidian and then a crystal on top of that and then blow that up. If you have the right amount of training, it could be a very strong tool. Next is the Ender Pearl. This is really good, top tier definitely, because it lets you teleport behind your opponent, so giving you the upper hand. Or it could also be used to escape from opponents that are too strong for you to defeat. A fire charge, it's okay. It's really just a worse flint and steel. So, in flint and steel itself, I mean, if your opponent has fire resistance, then no, this is not useful at all. But in some scenarios, it can be pretty good to have. A firework, it's rarely useful. It's like even in traps, it's not that good as a weapon. Okay, fishing rod. Uh, Rod PvP, I don't know how to do, but it's pretty good. I heard that that you can use the fishing rod to stop people from advancing and getting crits on you. So that's probably why people use it. Oh, a hoe. Rarely useful. Do I even need to explain? Like, why would you bring a hoe to a fight unless it has sharpness 255? I'm definitely not guilty of that. Next is the lava. This is really good. It does a lot of damage really quickly, and it pierces through armor that doesn't have fire protection on it, so it's really useful for that. Next is the magma block. It's better than the cactus because it will take longer. It'll take longer to break, and it doesn't have the placing limitations. So, um, however, no, actually, yeah, it does go on all edges. I'm going to give this one an okay. A pickaxe. I mean, it's okay. It does a somewhat decent amount of damage, but it does have a pretty good does have a pretty long recharge period though. So, okay. A firework crossbow. That's good. It does a lot of damage. It is more expensive than a normal crossbow because you're using fireworks and all that. But yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. Next up is the shield. Must have for any PvP. It can block damage and to take one axe hit before it's disabled for a short amount of time. And it also can block arrows, which is good for advancing if your opponent is a bow spammer. But it does break really easily in combat situations, though. Alright, next up is the shovel. It's rarely useful, it's the same thing. What do you assume to be a damage potion? I mean, in theory, it's good, but you might hit yourself as well, which can be a devastating impact on your health. I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah, I'll just put it as good. Poison, yeah, poison is pretty good as well. I don't know what that potion is. Maybe it's a duplicate of that one? Probably. Anyways, berry bush. These are like cobwebs, but they don't last as long, but they deal damage, which in itself is pretty good because then you can distract your opponent while from hitting you by placing it. They'll try to break it, allowing you to get some free hits in. I'd say it's pretty good. A sword, a classic, a must-have in every PvP. Especially if you rely on combos for your PvP playstyle. Okay, TNT. Best for traps. Do I even really need to explain that much? Like, okay, you ignite it and then it gives you like, I think 3 or 5 seconds to get away from it before it explodes. It's really only good for traps. A trident, if it has loyalty on it, then it's really good, but if not, then it isn't that good. It's like a slightly slower axe when it comes to damage. I'm gonna put it as good. A water bucket, it can help sometimes. Yeah, I'll put it as an okay. A wither rose, this is just a better berry bush. That's going in the best tier. Anyways, I hope you can agree with this. Let me scroll it up. There we go. So go ahead, tell me what you think how this should go. I'll leave a link to the tier list in the comment section down below so you can make your own. Anyways, I'll see you later. Bye.